All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
We'll get to the chat right after we get done talking about the facts and what we know about what's going on with Carson Wentz. But with that being said, welcome to Colts Law. I'm Lawrence Owen, and with me as usual is Colts Loyalist, and today we will be discussing the Carson Wentz foot injury. Now, there is a lot of assumptions going on around this injury once it was reported all over social media by Colts fans and non-Colts fans, and even reporters are throwing out assumptions. What we're here today, starting off, is to talk about what we actually know about the injury and the steps they are doing to find out more. Now, it came out that Carson Wentz, after Thursday's practice, or during Thursday's practice, walked off because he felt a twinge in his foot. There was no mention of pain, and he also did some interviews after practice was over. He then went and got evaluated by the Colts medical team, where they said that they did not find anything that was severe or worrisome, and they did not believe that it required surgery. But they were going to get a second opinion by the best foot doctor in the NFL, who happens to be in Green Bay. A lot of people want to say, well, you're going to a foot surgeon, there must be some sort of surgery getting ready to happen. But they just want exact opinion on this. They already have their assumptions. They already had their look over on Carson Wentz's foot. Now, I'm not going to make assumptions currently right now. It could be nothing. It could be nothing, but it could be something. And until we know more, I'm not going to get into worrying on whether we need to go sign Marcus Mariota or, someone of that nature in order to be with the Colts. Some people are saying he's going to be gone before, he's going to be gone well into the season. And other people are saying, they don't know, which it's kind of where I'm standing at right now. I want to know more. What about you, Loyalist? What have you heard and read about so far?
Okay, well, like you said, you heard about how Carson had experienced a twinge and stuff. More importantly, like you said, the Colts didn't seem overly concerned as far as, okay, let's cart him off the field. There was none of that. There was none of this, angst that you would think that, which the Colts are good about dealing with, keeping a calm, even keel. But the thing that I like to hear is, Carson's already talking about how he's trying to find out if this is something he can play through and how much he really wants to play. And just, the whole mindset that he's leaving me, the opinion I'm leaving just from hearing the coaching staff and Carson talk, is that this is a day-to-day thing. They're going to get more information. And right now, everybody just needs to relax. And quite honestly, the upside to this is that we do have a very unproven young quarterback, that's backing Carson up, and he's getting extra reps. So, if you're looking for the silver lining, that's what I would say would be the silver lining.
Absolutely. Now, yes, Jacob Eason apparently today during practice did throw a pick six in today's practice, but he was 13 of 16 apparently, and everybody throws interceptions during practices. It happens. Big deal. The fact that he was 13 of 16 or 13 of 18, either way, that's incredible, even if they are a lot of checkdowns. Checkdowns means he went through his progressions. So that's a good thing. Now, with Carson Wentz and his twinge in his foot, I've had twinges in my foot. I have plantar fasciitis. I've dealt with it my entire life. And I've had a twinge in what felt like a bone dislocating in my foot, but it wasn't it. That's not what it was. And when I went to the doctor, I went to a foot specialist, they told me it's plantar fasciitis. Stay off your foot for a couple days, you'll be good. You know, it could be as simple as that, or it could be worse. We don't know. The Colts don't know. That's why they're going to a specialist. And I'm sure we'll hear reports sooner rather than later on what's going on. So until then, hopefully everything will be a little calmer, but I doubt it because like you said, all over media, man. You got Colts fans, you got Colts media, you got NFL fans, NFL media, just making assumptions. And they did. Let's see here. Ian Rappaport stated if he needed surgery, it could be 6 weeks. But everyone is completely ignoring the fact that the tweet right before it said they don't expect him to need surgery. You know, that they're just going to get checked out. So that's just worst case scenario situation that Ian Rappaport was dropping out there. Even Mike Garafolo out there was saying the exact same thing, you know. So I'm not too worried about it yet until I know more concrete answers. And I get it. I understand. We all lived through the Luck era, you know, with his ankle. But it's completely different situations. Andrew Luck, he went through an entire offseason not taking a snap, right? And then decided to retire because the pain throughout the entire offseason was something that he just wasn't willing to deal with. This is a completely and utterly different situation. Also with Jacob Eason, you're right. He has no real NFL experience. So getting these snaps and starts with the first team will make him a better quarterback in the long run. So there are silver linings to this situation, and I appreciate everyone that is here watching and listening to what we have to say about this. I'm just not going to let something rile me up when I don't have all the facts. So,
and most importantly, you know, you sit there and you also think about the offseason that he's had and all the reps that he's had with the receivers and stuff. Yes, I understand you want them there. I understand that this is where your chemistry and your timing. But let's at least look at it and say, hey, this isn't the first time he's seen these guys, so he's got some familiarity. And like I said, if he misses all training camp or whatever, he's not going to be at point one with this because the Colts are real good about keeping him plugged in and keeping the mental reps going and stuff. So I'm not trying to say that this is a great situation, but I don't think that it's worst case scenario. So for Colts fans that are worried about it, you know, let's just wait. Like Ballard says, let's not panic.
Absolutely. So if you're watching this, please don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell. If you're watching this on Newsbreak, please go check out my YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, go check out Newsbreak. Yeah, that's pretty much our insights and what we think about the Carson Wentz injury, at least the report of it and what we know the facts of. Now I just ended that first part, ladies and gentlemen, is going on Newsbreak. That is just the facts, and that's why I had to go just that and not get into the chat. Had about 9 minutes of that, so that's pretty cool. But I want to thank everybody. Man, we're starting to get some viewers in here. I's a white guy. What up? Appreciate you being in here. Alpha Wolf, Michael Cat, Nano, Milano. I'm going to call you Milano. You're in here a lot. I should know better. Rams, what's up? Company of Eagles. Chuck Millsap, Jason David, McChicken Vlogs, Frank the Tank, Bring the Juice, and Joe Thornburg. Thank you so much. Bring the juices in here. He says, see you tomorrow, Lawrence. You absolutely, man. We're going to be at Colts camp tomorrow, and we're gonna hang out, talk to each other. Delusional Pats fan, thanks for being here. We're going to get into the chat here in just a second, but honestly, man, Twitter is full of just negativity right now over this. Full of negativity. Eastway, official Reich. What is up, guys? Jason David did ask a question, and I got to say, I haven't gotten to that news yet because I wasn't there at training camp today. He says, have you talked yet about what happened with Pittman Jr. and Campbell at camp? Somebody apparently got body slammed. I don't know anything about that yet. I haven't went and checked that out. That must be new, fresh news that, I didn't see because it was probably overshadowed by the Carson Wentz situation. Do you know anything about that?
I just, like you, right before we came in to record, I heard that, they had asked Marcus about the scuffle between Pittman, and I didn't even hear who the other player was or anything. But to sit there and, other than Marcus, just sort of seemed like it was just, just two guys competing. So. Yeah,
I think so too. Guys, don't forget, like I said, you can smash that like button. Don't forget to check out the description of the video. I got my super chat down there, right at the top of the description. I got my Patreon, $5 a month. Pretty simple, easy. Get all of my stuff, and of course my merch shop, and then of course Newsbreak. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download it. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. McChicken Blogs comes in and asks, who's filling in for Ryan Kelly, and if
Danny Pinter.
Danny Pinter is filling in for him. Yeah. I have no idea what's up with that. Why would Campbell hit Pittman? Jason said, I don't know.
At first, I thought he was, because I didn't hear who the other guy. I thought they were talking about Paris Campbell, but it's Ibrahim Campbell is who they were talking about. Just to let you know.
Yeah, exactly. Justin Gugel, what's up, man? Appreciate you being here. It's crazy how fast a twinge turns into needing surgery on ligaments without hardly any kind of information. That's my whole thought process, because you get this little bit of info, and they're saying they don't think it's a big deal, but they're going to go see a specialist. And then next thing you know, it's blown up. Everybody's got worst case scenario on their mind, and it's a runaway train. And
I've heard somebody mention that it was possibly an Achilles, and I'm like, for me, if it was Achilles, I think the reaction, the response, and everything would be drastically different. So I think we can probably mark that one off as not a possibility.
Sargo Milano, gotcha. Appreciate you. I think I said Sargo before, and my brain just stopped. All right, when I tried to pronounce it this time for some stupid reason. What's up, Matthew? Appreciate you being here. McChicken said, if it was Paris Campbell, he's going to be out for the year due to an injury, probably. Yeah. Who knows? I hope not. I hope it was just an accidental scuffle, maybe. But I don't know what's going on. But all right, guys, I'm going to go back into a little bit here because my chat is flowing like crazy. And
thank you, by the way, guys. We appreciate that.
Absolutely. McChicken says Eason is better than Wentz. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, Eason, I like Eason. I like what I saw with Eason the first couple days. I don't know what. I'm told 13 of 16 or 13 of 18 today. I like his arm. I like his arm strength. I like his delivery. I like how quickly he gets the ball out, and he's learning to get through his progression. So this whole wanting to bring in quarterbacks like Gardner Minshew or something like that, no, we don't even know if Wentz is going to be out very long.
The best one I heard was bringing back Nick Foles, or bringing Nick Foles in. I was like, he's lived that nightmare. I don't think we're going to do that one.
I mean, come on. Let's find out what's going on first.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it, man. Because otherwise, I mean, what if it's nothing? You know, and then you just went out and spent $10 million on another quarterback. That's stupid. In my opinion, that's just dumb.
Yeah. He just figured since Ryan wasn't practicing, he was just going to take a couple weeks off with Ryan. That's all it is.
That's right. They're going to share a bed together. Yeah. Yeah. Which makes sense. You know, center, quarterback, they need that alone time together.
Ryan, he said it, not me.
Colts 304 says, I got a buddy that works for the Colts. No one seems to really know how bad the injury actually is. Doesn't seem too serious, but he could miss some time. Obviously, you know, he's already missed some time. He missed today, so he's missed some time. We don't know. It could be a week. It could be a month. We don't know because we don't know, right?
Right.
I mean, good Lord. If Carson is out for a significant amount of time, do you think Eason could lead us to the playoffs? Zach Erlinson. That's an interesting question.
First question I'd like to know is, what is significant? You know, are we talking 2-3 weeks of regular season? You know, I mean, what is the definition of significant there? Because, in my opinion, I mean, we were going to rely on the run game early in the season. That was always sort of what I thought, you know, and help, like I've said, help Carson find his flow and stuff. So, I mean, if as long as Jacob can handle the pre-snap and just, you know, I mean, like you said, just staying calm and going through his progression. I mean, arm talent-wise, you know, just everything that we've seen as far as on the field, outside of the mobility and stuff. Yeah, I think that, you know, we, you know, say like, okay, Seattle, I don't see that, you know, if we don't have Carson, that it's Seattle's going to beat us type of situation. What do you think?
If he misses significant time, he's not leading us to the playoffs. Wentz will still end up leading us to the playoffs. He's not going to be gone the entire season.
Right.
So the better question is, could Eason mitigate the loss of Wentz through the first few weeks or so of the season? And I believe so, because you got the entire offseason to prepare for it. You know, if there's anyone out there that can prepare any quarterback for games, it's Frank Reich. He's proven it over and over again. So, you know, he's got plenty of time to get ready. And I really think, but honestly, I don't see Wentz missing any time yet. You know, I mean, even the Colts said they don't expect any kind of surgery or anything. They don't think this is a serious situation. So we'll just put things on a back burner. It's not hard to wait a couple days and find out, you know, what the report is. At least that's my thought. No Patch Jim, what up? Zach Erldson says 5 or 6 games is what he was accepting. And like I said, you know, if he misses a few times, yes, I think that Eason with Frank Reich and an entire offseason to work out, I think it'd work just fine. But even when we do know, we still don't know. Colts staff doesn't have a good track record about being honest about injuries. Matthew Stansberry.
I would say this staff is much, I mean, honestly, I mean, this staff is open to the point, you know what I mean, that they, you know, they invent like the, you know what I mean, behind the draft stuff. I mean, so to sit there and label this like the whole first part of the Andrew Luck situation, it's not. It's night and day. You're not even comparing the same. I mean, yes, they play the same position, but Chris Ballard was coming in. He was already in the injury and stuff. The other guy before Ballard that we'll leave unnamed. I would say that some of the more of the dishonest or the disinformation was there. And I honestly believe that when Ballard told us that, he thought Luck would be back. And I really believe that was the progression, and things just didn't go as the way they saw with the doctors and stuff. So to sit there and say it was disinformation or dishonest, I wouldn't agree with that at all.
No, the problem here is when it came to Luck, they were semi-incompetent rather than dishonest. They didn't know what the actual situation was. The medical staff misdiagnosed him 3 times. That's incompetence rather than, and that's why they're not taking this chance with Wentz, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're sending him to Green Bay and be like, dude, you know your stuff. What's wrong with him? Let us know. But you're right. When it comes to, people are misunderstanding. This staff is incredibly open compared to almost any other staff in the NFL. It's just, I hate to say it, when it came to Andrew Luck, they just didn't know what was wrong with him. And they said that multiple times. That's why there was the whole, it's a calf, it's an ankle, it's a lower foot, it's a heel. It's, they don't know. They kept changing it because they didn't know.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, that's what the medical profession was, and I mean, we've all, I've had it, where you sit there and you're like, what's going on? And they misdiagnose things multiple times. And then you find out 4 or 5 times later, it's a hernia, and at one point in time it was, indigestion or acid reflux. So, I mean, they're not doctors. All they can do is sit there and manage the situation. And like you said, they're going to let us know the things that they deem that is necessary for us to know. But, to sit there and think that they're going to fill us full of, oh yeah, he'll be back. I don't see a timeline. I think that's one thing that, of anything that the Colts learned was, let's don't put timelines on any of this stuff. Because I think that is where Ballard really probably took the hardest hit with the Luck situation, was just when you set the timeline and missed it. You know what I mean?
That's why the word indefinitely is out there for Carson Wentz, because they don't have a time. They don't know.
I'll tell you what, though, I hate that word. I seen that in the first, my gut was just like, ugh. But until I did a little more digging.
Well, I mean, indefinitely means an undetermined amount of time, which means it could be 10 years, it could be 10 seconds. You don't know. It's undetermined. It's indefinite. Who knows? It's just like when someone is suspended, for an indefinite amount of time. You don't know. It could be a month. It could be the rest of his life. We don't know. That's what the word indefinite's all about. So, and people really did jump on that indefinite word. And again, that word does kind of promote a little bit of thinking long term rather than short term, but facts are facts, and there's not enough facts to come up with a logical reasoning for what's going on and how long
and
he'll
for
be
me, out. I feel like this whole situation, if this had been another quarterback, like Sam Darnold or something, I mean, just somebody that didn't have the history, and then going through, this tumultuous situation in Philly and coming here, I don't think that this situation would be blown up to the scale that it has been. Yeah, they'd sit there and they'd release the information as they have, but everybody wouldn't be hopping on this thing and already. I've heard people sit there, and say, "See, I told you," and then you hear other people already calling that this was the worst deal that the Colts have made, and I'm like, holy heavens, how are we there already? We're what, day 3, day 4 of training camp? Come on.
Yeah, that's right. I'm still going through here and looking in here. Frank the Tank says, I'm a Jets fan, but it's always cool to look at other teams. And I think I saw Darius Leonard got hurt. What is that all about? All right. So Leonard is going to be out. They're expecting a couple weeks, from what I'm understanding of training camp. He hurt his ankle back in early June or something, and had minor surgery on it. And they're expecting him back here within a week or two. So
wasn't it like just a cleanup or something in the ankle?
Yeah. So it's no big deal. It just no one's really too worried about the Darius Leonard. It's funny because you didn't hear blow ups on that,
No.
and it's pretty much the same thing. Well, we knew he had surgery on an ankle.
Yeah.
And yet, people are like not blowing up on that, but Carson Wentz, you don't know, probably won't need surgery, don't think it's that bad, but everybody's losing their shit over it. So
I do have a question for you though. Do you see the Colts? Okay, say that the whole Carson thing ends up being for training camp. Do you see the Colts just bringing in another quarterback just to relieve the reps and stuff on these guys, or do you think they just run with the 3 during camp?
I think they're going to run with the 3. Now, could they go grab another guy? Maybe. But they won't do any kind of move until they know a little bit more about what's going on with Wentz. But
exactly.
If he doesn't look like he's going to miss some significant time, they will probably go get another camp body. I don't expect them to sign a big name quarterback or even a halfway name quarterback. Arm. Yeah. Just a 4th arm. That's it. Probably vet minimum, that type of situation. I don't see him going out and getting, trading for somebody or anything of that nature because, honestly, the Colts staff and organization and coaches have said a lot of good things about Jacob Eason. And from what I saw, I thought Jacob Eason looked good as well. So that is what it is. Matt says 6 quarterbacks in 4 years. Sigh.
We're not there.
We're not there yet. That'd be awful, wouldn't it? Yeah. But I'm okay with all this. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm kind of excited to see Jacob Eason tomorrow at camp. Guys, Loyalist and I will be joining Cody Felger from Bring the Juice podcast tomorrow. Now, Felger's going with his own group of guys, and me and Loyalist, we're going with ours. But we'll be there, and I'm curious. What are some things you want us to look at? Because there are multiple things going on the field at the same time during any part of the practice. During any time of the practice, both fields are being utilized. So we can't look at one field and watch the other one at the same time. Okay? That's why we missed some team workouts on one side while we were watching the running back drills on the other. There's just some things. So I want to know from you guys in the chat, what do you want us to keep an eye on? Specific player, things of that nature. Obviously, Jacob Eason's going to be at the top of the list, so you ain't got to put that in there. I mean, if you do, you do, but, that's definitely something that we're going to be watching. But, yeah, let us know in the comment section what you want us to keep an eye on, all right? Focus on the Matt Stansberry says, go check out the hot moms.
I don't think my wife would appreciate that a whole lot.
Right. You just check out your wife. Hot mom, right? There you go. There you go. All right. You did your job. Stansberry says, focus on rookies and O-line. I think Loyalist will have his eye on the O-line a lot.
Yeah, I'm really, really interested to watch Danny and see how he's progressing because he came in last year and did good, but like I said, I would just like to see how he's communicating with the rest of the guys and stuff.
Yeah, Zach Erlinson says Jonathan Taylor. We did keep an eye on Jonathan Taylor that first day. Alpha says we need a breakdown on the cheerleader squad. I can get some pictures with some cheerleaders if that's what you want, but it ain't going to help you out. It'll just help me out. Yeah. But
Have a new thumbnail.
I had an opportunity to take some pictures with about 6 of them yesterday. They were all lined up in a tent right there and taking pictures. I could have done that myself, but I had other worries about things. Wouldn't mind meeting a few of them just to say hi and tell them that I appreciate the work that they do and bringing up the spirits of fans and the Colts during games. But yeah. Jason David says this brought back Eagles fans hate for Wentz. And they don't even know anything either, but they're going to pop off at the mouth just because, it is what it is. And
I will say, in the defense of some of the Eagle fans, I think Lucas put a tweet out that he says there's 3 types. He says there's the, oh, I hope he's okay group. Then there's the troll group that are like, see, I told you so. And I forget what the third one was, but he's very accurate with that. There is a very diverse information coming from that side.
David says if the Colts found out this is worse and Wentz is out for the year, call Uncle Rivers back. Rivers is retired. Period. End of discussion. He's not coming back. He's coaching his son's high school team, or I don't even know if it's high school. It might be.
Yeah, it's high school. I didn't know it was his son. But yeah, it's high school.
Yeah. But yeah. And Zach says, and keep an eye on to see who's locking up the number 2 corner slot. And so far, I'm seeing Rock is actually doing that. That he's doing a really good job. There's been some standouts as well. Larry Brown wants to know, he heard that Ryan Kelly's going to miss 1 or 2 weeks. I haven't heard a definite on that either.
Yeah. Marcus Brady today said he expected no more than 2 weeks in training camp and stuff. So he'll be back.
Injury. Yeah.
Yeah. He hyperextended it, and it's just basically letting everything get back, find its rigidness or whatever you want to call that.
Oh, but he might need surgery and be out until the end of season. Well, I mean, that's what we're doing with Wentz, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
now, in the defense of the reporters, I can understand why they're trying to hyperbole. It's hard to sit there and and it's hard to sit there and put content going out there and saying, yeah, he's hurt. Especially after all the drama that's been surrounding Wentz this year.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everybody, man. Good Friday. It's not Good Friday, but it is a Good Friday. Just not as much good if you're a Colts fan due to the fact that, you have all this news. A lot of injuries, a lot of COVID situation this week for Colts. But what do you expect? It's the first week of training camp. Guys have been gone all off season. Physically, they're not, to par. And when you jump out there, you're going to have these little soft tissue injuries and things of that nature. Good to get those out of the way early. That way you can stay more healthy throughout the rest of the preseason and the regular season. What is the chance, Jason David? Come on, dude. What is the chance Sam Ehlinger is week 1 starter over Eason? Well, first off, that's assuming.
Uh-oh.
That's assuming that Wentz isn't there, because I'm going to say that week 1 starter is probably Wentz. Like I said, we don't know. They're already talking about, we're still 6 weeks away. 6 weeks is a nice little long chunk of time. As for Ehlinger, look, I like his competitive spirit. but he's not the best thrower of the football. Okay? That's the only thing that Jacob Eason's got a mile on him when it comes to throwing the football. And that's firsthand experience watching it right there on the field, dead right in front of me. Okay? So that's just me. That's just me. I'm not really, Larry Brown says, I'm not really worried about Wentz's injury. I think this time to see what Eason's got. Good O-line, run the damn football, feed Taylor the ball. You know, that sounds how it works. That's absolutely. Coming on strong, 4191. Bring in Chad Kelly. Chad Kelly's unemployed. There's a reason why Chad Kelly was let go last offseason and why he wasn't picked up by anyone. Remember that. So just saying. Zach Erlinson says, can Paris Campbell make it through an entire season? I'd love to see that. Can he? Yeah. He had an interview where they were talking about, is there anything that you could do to not be as injury prone and blah, blah, blah. And Paris straight up said, you know what? After that knee injury, I thought about it over and over and over, going it over in my head, and there was nothing I could have done. It was just meant to happen. And I can't think of it like that. I just need to go out and play the game. So there's nothing he can do, and I get that, other than, do your traditional stretches and play your game, He has just as much of a chance of getting hurt as anyone else on this football team, in my opinion, Hopefully he won't get hurt. Hopefully he does see the entire, because if he sees the entire season, I'm expecting big things for the Colts. That's how I see it. Matt, glad our first few games on the schedule are easy. That's sarcasm, right?
I hope so.
We play, we play Seattle right off the bat, which was a 10-plus win team. The Rams, who in my opinion is the best team in the NFC this year. And, Miami, who was a 10-plus win team last year. The Ravens, who was, beat us and was a 10-plus win team last year. The Titans, who obviously was a 10-plus win team last year. I'm not going to say the first few weeks of the schedule is easy. But, it is what it is.
Yeah. And like I said, I think if Jacob Eason can come in and get comfortable and keep the offense organized and stuff, like I said, I don't know that it makes a tremendous difference in at least the first two games. Okay. Yes, I understand you were thinking more of the passing attack against Seattle because of their secondary and stuff. But like I said, I felt like, that the running game was going to be heavily leaned on the first few weeks, whether it's Carson, whether it's Jacob, whether it's Billy Bo Jimbo.
He's
Frank
really
Reich
underrated, by the way.
Yes, he is. But Frank Reich has always talked about year after year about getting that rhythm, getting that flow and letting it sort of, originate its own chemistry and stuff. And that's where I'm like, you know what? If we can get Jacob out there, whether Carson's at training camp or not, and getting a lot of reps in and stuff, you know what? I don't see do I think our scoring output will go down? Yes, but I don't see that it's going to drastically change the outcome of the game.
Yeah. Stansbury. I read that so wrong. All right, so this is how it actually reads. What he actually wrote. Seahawks have Desiree on their cornerback squad, and now they hurting there. What I read was the Seahawks have Desire on their quarterback squad. Well, of course they do. They're one of the worst pass defenses. They desire to be better. Just saying. Why does Zach Pascal get no love? He's our most consistent wide receiver. Has been for the past 2 years. I'm not going to disagree with you. It's because his ceiling is not as high as some of the other guys. He is a very effective, down to earth. You know what you're going to get from Zach Pascal every game in, game out. And that is something that you cannot put a price tag on, really. Consistency. Zach Pascal to the wide receivers is what Jack Doyle is to the tight ends. Okay? Mm-hmm. Consistent and good at his job. All right? But you're always looking for that guy with the higher ceiling, right? That flash. And, that's why we went out and got Kylan Granson. That's why Mo Alley Cox is on the team. That's why Paris Campbell and Michael Pittman Jr. have been draft picks, because you're looking for that high-end ceiling. But I agree. I think Zach Pascal is a solid all-around wide receiver. Big-bodied, good catch radius, good hands, good route running, can block. He just doesn't have that super high-end, top-end speed, right? He doesn't have that really, really scary cut ability, that side-to-side cut ability. But, what he does do, he does well. So, it is. Hey, Billy Bob, Jim Bob has a rocket of an arm. Alpha Wolf says, let's not forget that. That's why I said he's underrated, isn't he? Linebacker who you are loving on defense this year, Stansberry asks. I'll go with you first. You can't say Darius Leonard.
Huh?
You can't say Darius Leonard.
Yeah, I know. I would sit there and say that I haven't seen enough. Obviously, I'd go next in line would be Bobby Okereke. But, I'm really hoping to see him lock in the run game, get to where he's much more efficient. If he can do that, he's the ideal fit. Because, as far as intelligence goes, he went to Stanford, for heaven's sake. The kid can process. He's very fast. He's very long. He's good in pass coverage. If he can step up and elevate his run defense, he is going to be another dynamic piece to have next to Darius.
I'm looking at EJ Speed. I'm hoping that he steps up and becomes a solid backup, rotational kind of guy. Maybe be able to come in when they're in base formations at Sam linebacker. That's a guy that I'm kind of got some high hopes on. Jalen Williams, Eagles fan here. You should not worry about Wentz not being healthy. The injury-prone tag is way overblown and is a weak take once you look into it. You should be more worried about if this will affect his mechanics, because that's what he's been working on all offseason, is his mechanics, getting back down to that. That's it. Now, he had, first off, Jalen, thanks for being here, my guy. Appreciate you. And thanks for not being, I hate to say typical, but I don't like saying typical when it comes to fans, but for certain fans from the Eagles that I have seen before. But I appreciate your take. No, he's been working hard on his mechanics with his personal trainer all offseason. But, yeah, you're right. That's what he was working on at this point during training camp. So, any time that he misses during this is going to affect that. But, he's still going to have practices when he gets back. And, he's walking around and stuff. Mm-hmm. He didn't look in pain when he came off the field. He's doing interviews and things like that. I see him still throwing the football. I don't see him running hard and taking off and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I could still see him throwing it around out in the backyard or something like that. Now, obviously, if worse comes to worse and he has to have surgery, then things are different. But, Yeah, I appreciate your take, and thanks for being
I'd
here.
like to add a little something to that. Is
Uh-huh.
this has been something I've been wanting. Is I wonder how Carson or who's in charge. Because I mean, we've seen all summer long Carson's really done everything that I could hope for, and I mean, and he's really been driven. And who's going to sit there and say, "Okay, Carson, slow down"? Who's going to keep him from taking this, this situation and pushing himself? You hear the players say sometimes you got to protect them from themselves. And I just wonder, is Carson going to be that? Is he going to be the guy that you have to sort of try to pull the reins in and say, no, we're going to, because the Colts, especially after they ended Luck, they've gotten to where they very much they would much rather give you an extra week of not playing versus risking putting you out to her. And I could see Carson Wentz trying to accelerate on the other side of things. So I guess who is it that's going to be able to sit there and keep Carson from doing anything that might create a prolonging this situation?
That is a good point. That is a good point. That's between him and the Colts organization.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it was up to me, I'd be at his house right now with him pinned down until we figure out what's going on. But it is what it is. Sargo says, time to watch Jacob Eason highlights and tell myself everything's going to be okay. Go check out my film room if you haven't done it already from last year. When the Colts drafted him, I did a film room on Jacob Eason. Yeah.
Wouldn't you also say that he was doing much better on the mobile, the out to the left and throwing the ball? What little we did see that first day.
Jacob was moving and throwing. He was throwing while on the move better during training camp than what I saw on tape. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, honestly, there was a couple throws where I was like, wow, he's getting his hips around better than Carson is, because Carson likes to throw that left leg up and give it that little whatever you want to call it.
Alpha says, who surprised you the most at training camp so far besides Eason? Michael Strawn looks a lot more explosive than I thought. Guys that have surprised me, honestly, Jonathan Taylor and his catching ability.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Taylor can catch the football. And I don't mean just, sideline. I mean go routes. Catch the football. So that surprised the heck out of me. There was a few things that I seen. What was Rock playing well has surprised me this season so far. What about you, Loyalist?
The big one for me was his co-partner, Marlon Mack. I mean, I understand that Achilles happened in the first week and everything, but I just really felt like the first days of training camp that we were going to see him come in and you were going to see some hesitancy. And guys, I'm telling you what, and everybody I've heard talk that have gone, to the other training camp days, you don't see. I mean, if you didn't know his history, you'd watch Marlon Mack and go, oh wow, he's gliding through there. He's setting these blocks up real nicely. I mean, I just find that amazing. Not that I didn't expect it to happen, week 1, week 2 of regular season, but the fact that he came into camp already just that on par with where he was when we lost him last year, I was very pleased with that.
All right, sorry about that, Matt. I just wasn't talking up to normal vocalization. That was my issue. Okay, that's why I was a little quieter. He says gain 3 decibels. So for that to happen, I have to speak up. Okay, that's all it is. I started getting comfortable and talking to you guys like you're right here with me, but you're not. You're wherever you are. Could be 5,000 miles away. I don't know. But Matt says that if Stansberry says if Wentz tries to get on the field a little quicker than he's supposed to, he will hit him over the head with the good book. And even with a gimpy foot, he's still faster than Rivers, and especially since Rivers last year had a gimpy foot too, right? Yep. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Even even in a wheelchair, he's got more mobility than Rivers. So yeah. Continuing on through here, Kayvon Jackstar, what's up? Appreciate you being here. Guys, don't forget, we're 50 minutes in. Please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live. And like I said, Kayvon Jackstar asks, well, I don't think it's an ask. I think it's a statement. Eason can win a game or two. And we're only 3 days into training camp. And from what I saw, he's better than some of the backups that we've had in the past. I'll tell you that much. He's better than Painter. You remember Curtis Painter?
What are you doing this for?
I'll guarantee you that.
Yeah.
I'll agree. Yeah. I think Eason could win a game or two if it was necessary, but it may not be necessary, guys. Heck, we might have Eason back for the first preseason game against the Vikings. You don't know. Or, no, Panthers, not Vikings. So, we'll see. We'll see. What undrafted free agent do you think is going to have an impact or make the roster for the Colts this year? Frank the Tank, what's up? That's a good question because I think the Colts have the longest streak in the NFL of something like 22 years or something like that. Straight of having an UDFA make the 53-man roster. Do you think that's going to happen again this year, Loyalist?
Yes, I do, and I know it's not. You're not a fan of my thought on it, but I'm liking the running back Deion Jackson out of Duke. I really like what he brings to the running back room. Like I said, I do see that it's hard to sit there and think, okay, if he comes in, and I like Jordan Wilkins. I'm not, and I understand that the guy is a solid running back and he's run great, but I just like, first off, I like the way if we bring a running back in, how it fills out the room as far as, with contracts and stuff coming up. Secondly, I like how the Colts always try to keep fresh legs and keep that dynamic. And he is very dynamic. He's very, I don't want to say that he's Nyheim Hines, but to me, I would compare him more to a Nyheim Hines than I would a Jonathan Taylor.
I'll agree that's probably the best chance. And the reason why I say it's the best chance that it happens is if he shows ability, the Colts might do Jordan Wilkins a solid and let him go get himself a shot on another team this year for more reps because he deserves it. Because he's not going to get that many reps this year, right? We all know this. He's a good running back. He's a solid running back. And I hope the best for him. But when you're sitting behind Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines as the fourth running back in a stable that is as deep as that, and Marlon Mack coming back from injury looking the way he's looking, it's tough. So the only way that happens is if the Colts do Wilkins a solid. I would hate to see Wilkins leave, but it's a possibility. Okay.
I'll tell you what, these 3 preseason games I think are massive for players that find themselves in the Jordan Wilkins situation.
Yeah. David, talking about when he congrated Braden Smith and then slipped out about not knowing who's going to start. Why would he say that? It's just how it is. Okay, I don't think Carson Wentz is a guy who is kind of personal, right? And keeps his, and it's like he's not going to let you know if he's had the vaccine type situation, right? They asked him about that, and he's like, that's a personal decision. I'm not going to let you know. And it's been reported by some people that every quarterback has had the vaccine. I'm not going to say who reported it, but, there's he did multiple interviews, and I didn't see any pain on his face at all, right? During those interviews after practice. That's why I don't think it's that big of a deal. You watched him walk up, you watched him walk away. I didn't see any pain. I didn't even see a limp when he was walking. Okay, so we'll see. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. And I mean, the Colts even said they don't think it's that big of a deal. They're just taking him to a foot surgeon for a definite answer. Does adding Kwity Paye make us a top 5 defense this year? Well,
Not
Zach,
just having Kwity.
no.
I mean, even if Kwity performs for a rookie, I still don't think he alone makes us a top 5 defense. I think that, we're going to need to see more from the other defensive end. I think we're going to need better play out of the cornerback. But, to sit there and say, do I think we can be a top 5 defense? Absolutely. But to sit there and think that Kwity Paye is the solution to that? No. Not my opinion.
Can they be a top 5 defense? Yes, they can. Could they slip and go to number 9 or number 10? They could absolutely do that as well. We have a little bit of changeover. That front seven's got some changeover, and I got Matt Stansberry dropping money, and I need to go and check that out. So hold on 1 second. Guys, if you want to do as you see him, there's a link right here below here where it says Streamlabs Super Chat, right? You can use that. That's what Matt Stansberry just used, and I'm going to read this right now. Give me a second here, because he's got a lot of stuff that he actually says here. And okay, you're right. I was wrong about my 6 quarterbacks from earlier. Since 2017, we have seen Luck, Tolzien, Brissett, Hoyer, Rivers. If Wentz plays this year, that makes 6. But he most likely will miss opening day. So we're looking at 7. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to miss opening day. I mean, that's, like I said, it's an assumption. And I'm not ready to drop on assumptions, man. Not yet. We'll see, but not yet. Eagles fan, Nikki Cunningham. Sorry, guys. I know how it feels. I don't have a problem yet. I mean, honestly, Colts fans know how it feels because we've dealt with Andrew Luck his last couple seasons. Okay. But we don't know if he's going to be good. We don't know if he's going to miss a week. We don't know if he's going to miss a month. We don't know. And we got to wait on him to go see the doctor to get the complete evaluation. Like I said, the Colts medical staff said they didn't think it was serious, that he don't need surgery, and it wasn't that, big of a deal. Darius Butler on the Pat McAfee show today said he didn't think it was serious, that he probably won't miss much time, that that's coming from his inside sources, and that he will keep his ear to the ground with his sources. And if anyone's got sources, it's Darius Butler and Pat McAfee, right? So, yeah.
And let's be honest. The Colts, they have a history of playing with quarterbacks that are banged up. I mean, Jacoby, Phillip Rivers, Andrew Luck. I mean, if they're not limping or, grabbing a leg or something, then they're not playing football.
All right. Stansberry says, "What? Oh, I can't read that, dude. I don't want to get demonetized." That's a demonetizing statement right there. I can't say that. Okay. Glad I read before I spoke out loud. You get what I'm saying, though. All right, so there's some things there. Nomadic Brian says, spray a bunch of free stuff on that foot and get out there, Carson. Put some Windex on it. Who knows? I mean, if this was week 1, he probably would have played, right? Like I said, he was walking around and stuff. He probably would have. It's okay, dude. I understand. It's just that one specific word, that I can't say. Free speech. There is free speech to a point, okay? Yeah. But, yeah, Nomadic, and thanks for chiming in as well. He probably would have played with it. He probably wouldn't even he might have came out the game. They would have looked at him. They said, can you step on it? Yeah. Does it hurt too bad? No. Okay, go back out there and play. They would have, like you said, probably put some Windex on it, spanked him, and told him, get out there, crybaby. But they probably wouldn't have said crybaby. Or maybe, because, I mean, we've had some coaches that were hard-nosed people like that in the past. We had a certain offensive line coach that were pretty rough with their players, which is why he was fired at the end of the year, or supposedly. I'm not going to say for facts, but, dang YouTube, right? MTS, yeah, that is right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been over an hour, and I really enjoyed sitting here talking. I appreciate the donation, Matthew. Thank you so much. Guys, before I get out of here, I'm going to drop another video, another ad right here, okay? Because guess what? Also in the link in the description is a link to my merch shop. Make sure to check out the Colts Law merch shop. The link is in the description of this video. There are a ton of high quality, reasonably priced items there that you can choose from. And all you got to do is just click one button and you can go and check out all these great merchandise items. What time? Matt says, are we going to practice tomorrow? I think the practice is from noon to 3 or something like that. If I remember correctly, tomorrow. Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because I would have been there at 7 in the morning.
No, I think it's noon to 3. I think they're open from 11 to 4 or something like that. I think the practice is from noon to 1:30, I think. I may be mistaken, but it's somewhere around in that general vicinity. We'll probably show up around 11 o'clock. I'm going to do a pre-record before practice, and then after practice, I'm going to record the ending. Hopefully. That was my plan Wednesday, and it didn't turn out that way. This time I'm hoping to do that, okay, and actually focus in. I asked Cody if he wanted to join me. He said he'll see if he can, because he's going to be there. So, guys, thanks so much. Please don't forget, all 30 of you, please smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tap that notification bell. Check out everything else, including my Patreon, because Patreon supporters will get my live camp reports a day before YouTubers. Okay? Just let you know. Truett Tressler is my latest Patreon supporter. It's only $5 a month. When we get back from camp tomorrow, I'm going to drop that video for Patreon, and then afterwards I will, like I said, 24 hours later, I'll make it public to everybody else. But thanks everybody for being here. As usual, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. Yes, Nomadic Brian, we're sending our best thoughts towards Carson Wentz. And until next time, have a good one.